Welcome to Proofless, the true crime podcast that ventures into the shadows of America's most baffling, unsolved mysteries. Cases where the evidence is scarce, the leads are maddeningly elusive, and the truth remains just out of reach. I'm your host, Anna Berger, and this is our 14th episode, a milestone that fills me with gratitude for the incredible community of listeners we've built. Your emails, your passionate discussions on social media, and your thoughtful engagement on our website are the lifeblood of this show, driving us to shine a light on stories that demand justice. Your dedication to seeking answers for those lost in mystery inspires us every day, and I can't thank you enough for joining us on this relentless pursuit. Today, we're diving into a case that has captivated true crime enthusiasts and sparked endless debate across the globe. The 2004 disappearance of Maura Murray, a 21-year-old nursing student who vanished after a car crash on a remote New Hampshire road, leaving behind a trail of cryptic clues and unanswered questions. Presumed dead by many, her case remains unsolved, a quintessential proofless mystery where the evidence is fragmented and the truth is shrouded in the mists of the White Mountains. So, settle in for a deep dive into a story that haunts a small town and lingers in the minds of those who seek answers. Let's set the scene. It's February 2004 in Amherst, Massachusetts, a vibrant college town nestled in the Pioneer Valley, home to the University of Massachusetts. The winter is brutal, with snow piling high and temperatures dipping below zero, but the UMass campus buzzes with students preparing for midterms and Valentine's Day festivities. Amherst is a blend of intellectual energy and small-town charm, with coffee shops, bookstores, and a sense of community that draws students from across New England. Maura Murray, born May 4, 1982, in Hanson, Massachusetts, is a 21-year-old junior in the UMass nursing program, known for her intelligence, determination, and athletic prowess. With her dark brown hair, blue eyes, and 5 feet 7 inches athletic build, Maura is a former track star from Whitman-Hanson Regional High School, where she set records in the mile run. She spent 2 years at the United States Military Academy at West Point, studying chemical engineering before transferring to UMass in 2002 for a less regimented path, drawn to nursing's blend of science and compassion. Maura's life is a mix of ambition and personal challenges. She's excelling in her nursing courses, working part-time as a security guard at a campus dorm, and planning a future in healthcare. She's in a long-distance relationship with Bill Rausch, a 22-year-old West Point cadet stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. The couple, who met at West Point, maintain their bond through frequent phone calls and visits, but the distance creates tension. Maura lives off-campus in a modest apartment, sharing space with friends like Kate Markopoulos, a fellow track athlete, and keeps close ties with her family in Hanson. Her father, Fred Murray, a medical technician and marathon runner. Her mother, Lori, a nurse, and 4 siblings, Freddie, Kathleen, Julie, and Curtis. Maura is particularly close to Fred, who raised her after his divorce from Lori when Maura was 6. She's known for her adventurous spirit, often hiking in the White Mountains, a passion reflected in her copy of Not Without Peril, a book about mountaineering accidents in New Hampshire. Despite her outward confidence, Maura faces struggles. In November 2003, she's caught using a stolen credit card to order food online, a misdemeanor that results in 3 months probation, and weighs heavily on her. The incident, a lapse in judgment, leaves her anxious about her future, especially as a nursing student where character matters. Her relationship with Bill is rocky. Phone records later show frequent emotional calls with arguments over trust and commitment. On February 5, 2004, Maura's life takes another hit. Fred visits Amherst to help her shop for a used car, as her 1996 Saturn sedan, black, with a faulty exhaust and worn engine, is barely roadworthy. They spend the day test driving vehicles, but that night, Maura borrows Fred's Toyota Corolla to attend a dorm party. Around 3:30 a.m. on February 7th, she crashes the Corolla into a guardrail on Route 9, causing $10,000 in damage. Uninjured but shaken, Maura calls Fred, who's furious but relieved she's safe. The crash adds financial stress, as Fred's insurance may not cover the damage, and Maura's probation could complicate matters. On February 9th, 2004, Maura's behavior becomes perplexing. At 1 p.m., she emails her nursing professors and work supervisor, stating a family emergency requires her to leave Amherst for a week, though she doesn't contact her family to confirm this. She withdraws $280 from an ATM, nearly emptying her bank account, and buys $40 worth of alcohol. Bailey's Irish Cream, Kahlua, vodka, and a box of Franzia wine at a nearby liquor store. She packs a backpack with essentials, clothes, toiletries, her nursing textbooks, a diamond necklace from Bill, and Not Without Peril. Her computer shows searches for directions to Burlington, Vermont, and the White Mountains, and she calls a rental property in Bartlett, New Hampshire, inquiring about a condo but making no reservation. Around 3:30 p.m., Maura leaves Amherst in her Saturn, heading north on Interstate 91. Phone records show a call to Bill at 2:18 p.m. and a voicemail check at 4:37 p.m., but her intentions remain unclear. She doesn't tell friends or family where she's going, leaving only a note in her apartment with the packed backpack, suggesting a temporary trip. At approximately 7:27 p.m., Maura's Saturn veers off Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, a remote, winding road in the White Mountains, about 140 miles from Amherst. Known as the Kankamagus Highway in parts, Route 112 is sparsely populated, flanked by dense forests and snow-covered hills, with limited cell service and few homes. The car hits a snowbank on a sharp curve near the weathered barn, a local landmark in the Woodsville area of Haverhill, a town of 1,200. A school bus driver, Butch Atwood, 58, returning home from his route, stops to assist around 7:30 p.m. He finds Maura alone, shaken but uninjured, standing outside the Saturn, which is stuck in the snow with a cracked windshield and deployed airbags. Maura, dressed in a dark jacket and jeans, declines Atwood's offer to call police, claiming she's already contacted 8AA for a tow. Atwood, skeptical but not wanting to press, notes she doesn't seem intoxicated, though he smells alcohol. He drives to his home, 200 yards away, and calls 911 at 7:42 p.m., reporting the crash and Maura's presence. Haverhill Police Sergeant Cecil Smith arrives at the scene at 7:46 p.m., just 19 minutes after the crash, but Maura is gone. The Saturn is locked, with the windshield cracked, airbags deployed, and the box of wine spilled inside. Her backpack, phone, credit cards, and keys are missing, but her textbooks, a MapQuest printout for Burlington, and the necklace from Bill remain. A rag, later identified as a piece of cloth Maura used to muffle the Saturn's exhaust, is stuffed in the tailpipe, a detail Fred confirms was Maura's habit to pass emissions tests. A small blood stain on the car's ceiling tests negative for alcohol, but a bottle of vodka is missing. No footprints lead into the surrounding woods, and police dogs, deployed within hours, lose Maura's scent at the road's edge, suggesting she entered a vehicle. The police initially treat the case as a missing persons incident, suspecting Maura, possibly intoxicated, fled to avoid a DUI charge. A bolo, be on the lookout, is issued, describing her as 5 feet 7 inches, 120 pounds, with dark hair and a dark jacket. Fred Murray arrives in Haverhill on February 10th, furious at the police's assumption that Maura ran away. He insists she was abducted, citing her responsible nature and the lack of footprints in the snow. The New Hampshire State Police and FBI join the investigation, given the potential interstate element, as Maura's car crossed state lines. Search efforts intensify. Volunteers, helicopters, and cadaver dogs scour Route 112, nearby Swiftwater Road and the Pemigewasset River, focusing on a 10-mile radius. The rugged terrain, blanketed in snow, complicates searches, and sub-zero temperatures raise fears of hypothermia, though Maura's urban background and lack of outdoor gear make a wilderness trek unlikely. The FBI interviews Maura's family, Bill, Kate, and other UMass friends, piecing together her state of mind. Her dorm is searched, revealing the packed backpack, a printed email from Bill expressing love, and a note suggesting relationship strain, but no clear motive for leaving. The case explodes into a national story. Maura's photo, a smiling college student in a UMass hoodie, appears on CNN, Fox News, and America's Most Wanted, which airs a segment on February 21st, 2004, generating thousands of tips. The Murrays offer a $40,000 reward, later raised to $100,000, funded by donations and Fred's savings, for information leading to Maura's safe return or an arrest. Tips include sightings of a woman matching Maura's description in Burlington, Vermont, and at a rest stop in Wells River, but none are confirmed. A key witness, Rick Forsher, a contractor living a mile from the crash site, reports seeing a woman jogging on Route 112 around 7 p.m., about 4 miles east, wearing a dark jacket and light pants. The sighting, reported weeks later, is unconfirmed, and police dogs fail to track the path. Another neighbor, Barbara, claims she saw headlights on a side road near the crash site around 8 p.m., but the vehicle is never identified. The investigation uncovers Maura's erratic actions before February 9th. Her phone records show a call to a Stowe, Vermont condo rental at 1:13 p.m., but the owner confirms no booking was made. A 4:37 p.m. voicemail check is the last activity on her phone, which goes silent afterward, suggesting it was turned off or destroyed. Her computer reveals searches for White Mountains hiking trails and Burlington hotels, hinting at a spontaneous trip, but her packed textbooks suggest she planned to return for classes. The rag in the tailpipe sparks sabotage theories, but Fred insists it was Maura's makeshift fix. The police explore whether Maura staged her disappearance to escape personal pressures, the credit card incident, the Corolla crash, or relationship woes, but her family rejects this, citing her ambition and close family ties. Bill, questioned in Oklahoma, provides an alibi, on base, and shares emotional voicemails from Maura, but nothing incriminating. Theories abound, each steeped in speculation. The abduction theory posits Maura accepted a ride from a passing motorist, perhaps an opportunistic predator. Route 112, while remote, is traveled by locals, loggers, and tourists, and a serial killer angle is considered with comparisons to the Connecticut River Valley murders, 1981 to 1988, though no links are found. Another theory suggests Maura wandered into the woods and succumbed to hypothermia, but the lack of footprints, her lack of cold weather gear, and the dense forest make this unlikely. A voluntary disappearance is debated. Some believe Maura, stressed by her mistakes, fled to start anew, possibly in Canada, where border crossings were less monitored, in 2004. Her $280 withdrawal and packed bag support this, but no financial activity or sightings post-February 9th are confirmed. A hit-and-run cover-up is theorized, with a driver striking Maura after she left the crash site, but no vehicle damage reports surface. The police investigate local men, including a neighbor of Forcier's with a history of domestic violence, but his alibi holds and no evidence links him. In 2006, a bone fragment found near the crash site tests negative for human DNA, dashing hopes of a breakthrough. A 2011 tip about a concrete basement in a Woodsville home, rumored to contain remains, prompts a search with ground-penetrating radar, but nothing is found. In 2019, a rusted knife found near the weathered barn is tested for DNA, but results are inconclusive. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit profiles the potential abductor as a male, 30 to 50, possibly local with a history of predatory behavior, but the profile is too broad to narrow suspects. The Murrays become tireless advocates. Fred, a bulldog of determination, organizes annual searches in the White Mountains, combing trails, rivers, and abandoned cabins. He criticizes the Haverhill police for their initial assumption that Maura fled, delaying critical searches in the first 48 hours. Lori, battling cancer, passes away in 2008, her last wish to know Maura's fate. The family's website, MauraMurrayMissing.org, becomes a hub for tips, offering the $100,000 reward, still active as of July 2025, per a Boston Globe report. Fred appears on Disappeared, 2011, 2020, 2017, and The Case of Maura Murray, 2017, pleading for leads. Maura's siblings, Kathleen, struggling with addiction, and Julie, a military officer, support the effort, though family tensions over Fred's relentless focus strain relationships. The case reshapes Haverhill, a town unaccustomed to such mysteries. Residents install security cameras, and Route 112 sees increased police patrols. New Hampshire strengthens missing persons protocols, influenced by Maura's case, requiring immediate action for at-risk adults. The case becomes a true crime phenomenon, amplified by the internet. The podcast Missing Maura Murray, 2015 to present, hosted by Tim Polari and Lance Reinstierna, draws millions, analyzing every detail from the rag to Forcier's sighting. The 2017 Oxygen series, The Disappearance of Maura Murray, led by Maggie Frilling, explores the case's complexities, interviewing Fred, Bill, and Kate. Reddit's r/Maura Murray and web sleuths buzz with theories: a planned escape to Canada, a local predator, or a connection to a drug ring, unsupported by evidence. Some sleuths point to similarities with the 2009 disappearance of Krista Dittmeyer in New Hampshire, but no links are proven. Advances in forensics offer glimmers of hope. In 2023, the FBI partners with Parabon Nanolabs to retest items from Maura's car, gloves, a scarf, and the rag, for DNA, but no new profiles emerge due to contamination or degradation. A 2024 search of the crash site with ground-penetrating radar and cadaver dogs finds no remains, though a metal detector uncovers a button that doesn't match Maura's clothing. The FBI's CODIS database holds Maura's DNA from a hairbrush, but without a body or crime scene, matches are elusive. In 2025, a New Hampshire Union Leader report notes a new tip about a retired trucker in Vermont with a history of assault, but his DNA doesn't match the partial profile from the car. Online, X posts and TikTok videos keep Maura's face visible, with some users claiming 2024 sightings in Quebec, though unverified. The emotional toll on the Murrays is profound. Fred, now in his 70s, tells Dateline in 2024, "Maura's out there, alive or not, and I'll find her." Bill, estranged from the family, avoids media, working as an engineer in Virginia. Kate, haunted by unanswered questions, speaks at true crime conventions. Haverhill holds annual vigils with candles lit along Route 112, and UMass dedicates a nursing scholarship in Maura's name. The case's proofless nature, no body, no definitive evidence, no clear motive, keeps it a haunting enigma. Did Maura accept a ride from a stranger who turned predator? Did she flee to escape her troubles, only to meet a tragic fate? Or does the truth lie in the snow-covered hills of the White Mountains? That's all for the 14th episode of Proofless. Maura Murray's disappearance is a mystery that challenges our understanding of choice, chance, and the unknown. If you have information, contact the Haverhill Police or visit moramurraymissing.org. Share your thoughts on our website or social media, and join us next time for another journey into the unknown. Until then, keep searching for answers.